to the Who Dat Nation. Welcome to the Dome Patrol podcast, your podcast for the New Orleans Saints here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and we have arrived to week 2 of the brand new NFL football season. And this week, the New Orleans Saints will not be playing on Sunday. No. We are in prime time. Monday Night Football as the New Orleans Saints travel to Carolina to take on the Panthers in prime time. Saints are 1-0 after defeating the Tennessee Titans last week, and the Carolina Panthers are 0-1, falling last week to the Atlanta Falcons in Bryce Young's debut in the NFL. This is a big game for the simple fact it's a division game. And I have a lot of concern going into this game, surprisingly. Even though when you look at this game on paper, Saints should win this game going away. But those are the ones, historically, that the Saints struggle with, especially going up against a rookie quarterback. It's something. I don't know if it's part of the Saints curse that when we go up against a rookie quarterback as the Saints, we struggle. It's like Dennis Allen has a confused button that is automatically pushed when he goes up against a quarterback that he doesn't have much tape on, or doesn't know exactly what he's going to do. But in this instance, Bryce Young, you pretty much know what he's going to do. And he didn't have a good game Sunday, but I was impressed by his poise. He had a horrible game, but he stayed in there. He stuck with it, and he's going to learn. Bryce Young is going to be a problem in the NFL, and especially in our division, but it's just not right now. At least I'm praying not right now that it doesn't start this Monday. But we're going to preview this Monday night matchup versus the Panthers and go over the injury report, give our keys to victory and predictions on this game. This was a wow week 1 in the NFL. This was a very surprising outcome to this opening week. Not going outside of the Who Dat Nation, just looking around the league. Look at what happened in New York. Both New York teams. New York Giants, starting with them. New York Giants were projected to make some noise this year after making the playoffs last year. They paid their quarterback, what's his name? Daniel Jones. I forget his name because I forgot he played. I think he forgot he was playing last Sunday night against the Dallas Cowboys. They got mollywopped. All off season. They refused to pay their star running back, Saquon Barkley, who is the driving force of that team. Instead, they banked on Daniel Jones and paid him the kitty. And I think it affected that team. They looked horrible. They look like the worst team in the NFL. I mean, night and day from what we saw last season from the New York Giants. And like I said, I know it's week 1. This is the prime time for overreactions. But I mean, some of the things you saw in that game, there's no bouncing back from. It just looked undisciplined. They looked uninspired, and this was a home game that was honoring September 11th. New York, this is the ground zero. It looked horrible. In contrast to the other New York team who played last Monday night against their division rival, the Buffalo Bills, 4 plays into the game, after spending the whole offseason building up the fact that they got their guy. They got their quarterback in future Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers. You have weapons You know, Garrett Wilson is a beast. That boy, oh man, Hall, can't think of his first name. That running back, a beast. They have pieces on offense to complement Aaron Rodgers. Speaking of compliment, the defense, he has a quality defense, championship defense, so to speak, that can go along with that high powered offense. The sky was the limit for the Jets. And 4 plays in, Aaron Rodgers tears his Achilles. And he's out for the season. You know, after all of Hard Knocks, after the off season, after all of Aaron Rodgers going to Taylor Swift concerts and all this here, the King of New York, 4 plays in, is over. Grand opening, grand closing. It was heartbreaking. I really was upset. Honestly, and I could care less about the Jets. I really could care less about Aaron Rodgers, but I love football and I love competition, and I wanted to see Aaron Rodgers in that Jets uniform, and boom, I only got to see it for 5 minutes, and despite all that, the team came together and still won the game. But part of that is because of Buffalo, and particularly their quarterback Josh Allen, who stunk up the joint. And I'm glad, you know, I'm not wishing bad on a young fella, but this is something I've been saying for a couple of years now. When people always throw up the 30 for 30 for Jameis Winston, yes, I'm going here, people. When they throw up the 30 for 30 for Jameis Winston, and he's a turnover machine, and blah, 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 this, that, and the third. And I always brought up Josh Allen. Josh Allen has all the qualities, just like Jameis Winston, but he turns over the ball like it's nobody's business, and nobody says a word. Nobody says nothing about it. Now, for the past week, they've been talking about it because it was on prime time. Everybody saw this. Everybody got to witness this dumpster fire of a performance. And I'm not going to say he single-handedly lost them the game, but he played a major role in them losing that game. Yeah, that was one big takeaway. The two New York teams. Another takeaway, you got to tip your hat to the San Francisco 49ers and Brock Purdy. That's a scary team, people. All the preseason predictions of them going to the Super Bowl is real. It is real. That is a well coached, well disciplined team. I thought after D'Amico Ryans left to become the head coach of the Houston Texans, I thought that defense would kind of excuse me, take a step back. But the way they demolished the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are a good team, is like, my God. And for Brock Purdy to bounce back after that injury and look like he hasn't missed a beat, actually he looked better in that performance. They're a scary, scary team. Those are just a couple of examples throughout the league. But let's jump into our division. How does our division shape up? Atlanta, who a lot of people are picking to win this division. Now part of this is hatred, but I don't see it. I'm just being honest. I don't see it. They did defeat the Carolina Panthers, who we're facing this Monday, but I'm I don't have enough confidence to say that they're going to be the team to beat in the South. Now, with that being said, I do stand by my statement that we're going to split with them this season. I just still feel that the Saints should win this division. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they beat the Minnesota Vikings this week, or last week, should I say. Okay, I'm still not super surprised by that because I'm not a Minnesota lover. I don't think Minnesota is the team, and they showed it Thursday night. They lost again. You know, they put up a performance. They look better Thursday night, but I'm not sold on Minnesota, and I'm not giving Tampa Bay points for that win. It just they called them. Good for them. I don't think we'll see much more of that throughout this season. The Saints. The Saints had arguably, or should I say, diversively, a big win against the Tennessee Titans. And yeah, there were some things that didn't really didn't really excite me as a Saints fan, but we did come out with the win. And so at the end of the day, that's all that matters. They don't equate wins on how you won or what went on in the second quarter with 8 minutes left in that half. It none of that comes back up again. The only thing that matters at the end of the day, did you win or did you lose? The Saints take on a divisional rival in the Carolina Panthers this week. The Panthers are looking to rebound after their week 1 performance. The Saints were able to squeak out a win against the Tennessee Titans, but the team has some things to clean up. The Carolina Panthers are led by their rookie quarterback, Bryce Young. Bryce Young played poorly in his debut. He threw for 146 yards and a touchdown, which is all right for a rookie, but he also threw 2 interceptions and had a passer rating of 48.8. He'll look to rebound this week against the Saints. And this is where I said that I'm kind of worried because historically the Saints aren't too good against rookie quarterbacks. The Panthers receiving core is pretty average, and that's being kind. And there is nobody that really scares me as a Saints fan. As the Saints defense, there's nothing out there. They gave away all of their good talent, and I mean gave away. DJ Moore is in Chicago. Of course, we all know Christian McCaffrey. They sent him to the 49ers. They have no weapons there. There's nothing to help out Bryce Young right now, and that's why I'm like, man, this dude can be good if you give him help. That's like the same team, Carolina Panthers, when they had Cam Newton. They put nothing around Cam Newton. It was a miracle they went to the Super Bowl the year that they went. He had nothing to work with. So I guess this is the formula for the Carolina Panthers. I don't know. Now, the Panthers do have former Eagles running back Miles Sanders, who real good running back with the Eagles. I don't know how good he's going to be here in Carolina, but he's okay. He's okay. He is not how can I put this? He's not an equal comparison or replacement for Christian McCaffrey. He is average. Christian McCaffrey is elite. He's average. So there's that as well. But he is not somebody who scares me either. Overall, I think the Saints should have another solid defensive performance, which is last week was lights out. Last week, they put on a show. Switching sides of the ball, the Panthers have 2 defensive studs. You got Brian Barnes and J.C. Horn. Now, Brian Barnes has always been a disruptor for the Saints and everybody else in the league. He is one of the elite pass rushers in this league. I'll get to Trevor Penning in a little while, but yeah, he's a problem. As far as J.C. Horn is concerned, J.C. Horn will be inactive this week and probably for the season. He hurt himself in the Falcons game. I believe he tore his hamstring, and I think he's required surgery, so he's going to be out. And that's been a knock on J.C. Horn. J.C. Horn is a real good cornerback. In case you don't know, he is the son of former Saints wide receiver Joe Horn. He is a real good cornerback, and he just can't stay on the field. And I feel bad. I don't think he ever played against the Saints in the couple of years he's been there. I think one game. I think he picked off, was it Jameis? He picked off somebody, but that was the only time we saw him play against the Saints. He's been hurt every other time. I feel bad for the guy because he's real good. He really is. Going back to Brian Barnes could wreak havoc in all phases of the game. He's that dude. Uh, he's already started off the season hot. He recorded 1.5 sacks. He forced a fumble last week against Atlanta. Yeah, he's a grown man. I'll tell you that much. The Saints struggled tremendously last week against the pass rush of the Tennessee Titans, so they'll need to have a big game plan against Brian Barnes. To put things in perspective, Pro Football Focus ranked the Saints pass protection last week 30th in the league. That's not good, in case you was wondering. There's 32 teams in the league, people. Saints ranked 30th in pass protection. That leads me into the most glaring bad standout of last week, and that is the second-year left tackle, Trevor Penning. He struggled the most out of everybody. Now, the whole offensive line didn't look good. Let's be fair. The whole line didn't look good, but Trevor Penning looked worse. He was so bad you didn't even look at the rest of the line. he was credited, not just him. He was credited with 12 blown blocks on passing attempts. 12. And I heard some analysts in podcasts talking about how, Derek Carr, he just ain't it. You know, we got Derek Carr. We still have a problem at quarterback. Look, you could have had Drew Brees, Johnny Unitas, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. It didn't matter who was back there. If you have people coming along your blind side, 12 times you drop back. There's just 12 out of I think he dropped back 33 times. So 12 out of the 33 times, you got pressure coming around his backside. You expect somebody to do something of note? It's a miracle he threw for 305 yards. You know, with somebody coming around your blind side. And out of those 12, I would say 10 of them unblocked, just coming. It was a struggle. No other player in the NFL had even close to 10 blown blocks. If the struggles continue for Penning, it may be time for him to ride the pine. You know, this is the week. Now, you're going up against a premier pass rusher this week, but I don't care. If he struggles this week, this should be it. This should be it. Yeah, I'm sorry. You know, you can't win them all. I know that was a first round pick, but hey, you win some, you lose some. However, the poor offensive line didn't stop the Saints receivers from having a great day. Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed absolutely shined last week in our victory. Michael Thomas also had a nice day, recording 5 catches for 65 yards. The Saints trio of wide receivers could become very dangerous if everybody stays healthy. Going back to the other side of the ball, the defense looks amazing. They were consistently causing havoc, forcing Ryan Tannehill to throw not 1, not 2, but 3 interceptions last week in the Dome. This was a breath of fresh air for the Saints, defense, being as though they were struggling to create turnovers last season. And for us to walk away with 3 last week, or was it 4? I think we got a fumble as well. But so we had a real good day defensively, causing turnovers. If the defense can keep the pedal to the metal, Panthers quarterback Bryce Young could be in for a long day, or should I say night. Let's go over the team stats for both teams from week 1. The New Orleans Saints, total yardage, 374 yards. Carolina last week, 300 yards. Passing yardage, Saints had 305 passing yardage to the Carolinas 146. Running the ball, Saints had 69 yards rushing. Carolina had 154. Yards allowed by the defense, 302 for the Saints, 245 for the Carolina Panthers. Passing yards allowed, Saints allowed 198 yards of passing to the Carolina Panthers, 115. Rushing yardage, Saints allowed 104 rushing yards to Carolina's 130. You also got to factor in their opponents last week. Saints played the Titans. Carolina played Atlanta. So it's not like we're comparing, apples to apples here. And so it's it was two different opponents that they both went up against. Let's go over this dreaded injury report this week. Saints have 3 players on the injury report as of today. This could change over the weekend, but I don't think it will. As of right now, Saints only have 1 player ruled out, and he is ruled out for the remainder of the season, and that is Peyton Turner. Peyton Turner had turf toe last week in the victory against the Tennessee Titans, and he is required surgery, so he is out. And man, as I was saying last week, hate to hear it. I thought this was going to be his year. I really thought he was going to break out, and for all intents and purposes, it looked like he was. Even in last week's game, before he got hurt, he was disruptive, and I hate to see this, man. This dude cannot stay healthy to save his life. Prayers up to Peyton Turner. Hope he recovers. Hope he can bounce back and hopefully be productive for the New Orleans Saints. Also on our injury report, we have JT Gray, safety. He's questionable for Monday night's game, as well as running back Kendrick Miller. He is questionable for Monday's game as well. For the Carolina Panthers, I already mentioned J.C. Horn. He is on IR. He is out for the season. Another one, just like Peyton Turner, he cannot stay healthy. He cannot stay healthy. Man, it really stinks. It really stinks for him. And this is somebody who has to play against this guy, but I wanted him to succeed. I guess part of that is my love for his father, for what his dad did for the Who Dat Nation, and recognizing that he is a very talented player, and I want him to succeed. I really do, and hopefully he bounced back. Once again, prayers up to J.C. Horn and his recovery. Carolina also has another player who is on AR, and that is Brady Christensen, their guard. He is out for the season. Another offensive lineman, their offensive tackle, Taylor Morton, he is questionable. But I read a report somewhere. I was trying to find it before I jumped on here, but I can't find it. I think he is out for this week's game as well. And also wide receiver DJ Chark Jr., he is questionable for Monday night game. Going back to the Carolina's offensive lineman who was out, they were already struggling with these two fellas. They was that offensive line was poo-poo with these guys, all due respect. Now they're out. We should have a field day defensive line wise with this team. But I'm trying to temper expectations because I don't want to blow myself up to get to get destroyed when it comes to Monday night. And so let's just keep our fingers crossed that this team, that the Saints defense can take advantage of these disadvantages that the Carolina Panthers currently have. A little history of this division rivalry. During the regular season, these two teams are tied. They've faced each other a grand total of 56 times in the regular season. Saints have won 28. Carolina have won 28. This is a rival. This is the rival. It's not Tampa Bay. This is the rival. Now, Atlanta is probably our most noted rival because we've been in this division the longest together. since the beginning, basically. And so that's why that's more prevalent, because there's more history there. But when Carolina came to be, I think what, the late '90s, early 2000s, I forgot when Carolina came to be. But anyways, uh, that's when that started. But this has been dead even. Every It's always been a fight. They've met one time in the playoffs, and the Saints beat the Carolina Panthers. That was 2017 in the wild card round when the Saints beat Carolina, I think by a point, if I'm not mistaken. I know it was a close game, but anywho's, these two teams were in the NFC West from 1995 to 2001. Then the rivalry continued when the divisions were reconformed, and this became the NFC South. To further express how evenly matched these two clubs are, they are deadlocked at 14-14 in both home and road contests. They are tied when it comes to the home games. In the road games, I guess you could say, for the other side of it, it is dead. It is dead even with these teams. You cannot make this stuff up, man. Out of the 56 regular season games the Saints and the Panthers have played, 28, which is half, have been decided by 8 points or less, with each team winning by 14. The Saints have the longest win streak of this rivalry, which stretched from 2000 to 2002. We all know that last year, the Carolina Panthers swept the New Orleans Saints, which still I cannot wrap my head around that debacle that was put on the field last season. The first one, in the first game, I think Baker Mayfield completed like 4 passes in that game, and we lost. In the second game, Sam Darnold, he completed 2 passes and threw 2 interceptions, and we lost. That was the last game of the season. I cannot get over that. I can't get over that. Look, if we square up, like we normally do with Carolina, because it's always a battle. It is never a blowout with these two teams. Never. It's always a fight to the end, close game, one possession, maybe two on a good year. And it's never a blowout. And so if it was a game like that, I can live with it. Because I have a lot of respect for the Carolina Panthers. But I can't last year. I just can't. It is horrible. I think it was one blowout. I think we lost by like 30 points one time, if I'm not mistaken. And I think we beat them by 30 points one time. I think we traded 30-point blowouts at one. One was a couple of years ago, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Saints blew them out. But anyway, it was few and far between. Few and far between. But anywho's, that's the past. That's the past. We look to the future. The future being this Monday night in Carolina, Saints versus Panthers. My prediction for this game, I'm picking the Saints. And my keys to victory in this game, we need to find a way to protect Derek Carr. I'm discouraged by that left side of the line. I don't know what they're going to do. You can't send nobody in chip every play to help out Trevor Penning every single play. That takes away from the offense. And so we need to find a way to neutralize Brian Barnes. The best way to neutralize that is to run the ball or run screen passes. And I didn't see any screens last week. I was kind of disappointed by that because you had an over-aggressive defense, and that is your best, for lack of a better term, best defense against such defense is to hit them with a screen pass, hit them with the run, because they're just trying to get to the quarterback. And when you're, zeroed in on the quarterback, you can have a Jamal Williams run past you. You can have hopefully a Kendrick Miller run past you, and run execute your screen passes, catch them off guard every time, every now and then, and that'll open up your downfield play with a Michael Thomas, with a Chris Olave, and with a Shadeed. I love that clip. If you've seen it, it's online of Derek Carr calling that shot, that long, deep, I think it was a 40-something yard pass to Shadeed down the sideline. He called it, on the when he was on the bench going over the drive. He was like, "Look, be ready, just run. I got you, just run." And it was a beautiful pass, and even a better catch. And so utilize this run game, and that will open up so much more offensively. Defensively, keys to victory. Look, I don't want to get over excited for this offensive line of the Carolina Panthers being hampered and broken up with a rookie quarterback sitting back there. It's like Christmas morning, man. It's right there for you under the tree. Just grab it and unwrap it. There's no obstacles in your way. And normally when things are too good to be true, they usually are. So I don't want to get too bucked up by that or too excited by that. But take advantage of this depleted offensive line. Let the young rookie figure it out, because he's going to have to figure it out and figure it out fast. Cam Jordan should have a big day. Your defensive tackles, whether it be Saunders or our rookie Breezy, they should have a dynamic day. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how this defensive line makes Bryce Young day or night very difficult. So we shall see. Secondary, there's really nothing to say. Just keep doing what you're doing. There's really nothing out there. All due respect to their being the Carolina Panthers receiving core, but come on. Come on. I'm very confident in this game. I'm confident enough to say that the Saints will defeat the Carolina Panthers this Monday night by the score of 31-14. That's yeah. I'm gonna give them 14, and I don't think they'll score that, but we shall see. But I think this should be a big game for the Saints offense. With J.C. Horn being out, I think this will be a coming out party. At least I'm hoping and praying that this is going to be the coming out party of this Saints offense. So we shall see. But I would like to know, what do you think? Do you think the Saints will come out big in this game? Do you think it's going to be one of those scrappy, old school Saints versus Panthers games? I would like to know. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also look me up on all social media platforms. Just look up the KB Radio Network. Also on YouTube, subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel on YouTube and like this video, as well as giving those 5 stars, those reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the Dome Patrol here on the KB Radio Network. Everyone, thank you for joining me for this preview of the upcoming Monday night matchup between the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers. As always, we will recap that game after it goes final. Can't wait to speak to you then. Until then, I'm going to be screaming all weekend, "Who dat?"